Want to know what to do with the leftovers from your garden? Watch today's show, End of the Summer Garden, today on Let's Cook. Hi, welcome to End of the Summer Garden today on Let's Cook. Now, what we're doing is we're actually doing some great items, and we're using garden products that you might have at the end of the summer. So, well, let me just go over the menu. We're making a pastrami salmon cucumber tomato salad. Then we're doing a tomato bouillon soup, all those tomatoes, and eggplant fritters. Now, the first thing that we have to do to make our salad is we have to make a pastrami salmon. Now, this is basically a cured salmon where we're going to take the salmon and we're going to cure it in a salt sugar solution with a little bit of alcohol. So the first thing that I'm going to do is this is kind of neat. If you ever get one of these scales, these are really kind of cool because what this has is it has a removable bowl. So if you have recipes where you have to weigh things, really works out well. It also has a scale right here where you see see how that moves back and forth. But what's really cool about this is if you have a different size bowl, you can move this around here so that it's always calibrated, so that if you need to set it there, okay, for instance, if I put the bowl on here, you'll see the bowl weighs something. So then I have to adjust for the bowl. So I just take and I slide my zero over to where the indicator is. Works. So because for our cure, what we're going to be using is I'm going to be using, this is my salt. Well, actually, I'm going to be using, let me just go over the ingredients that I'm going to be using in this. I'm going to be using some lemon juice. I'm going to be using 4 ounces here of salt. So what I'm doing is I'm just dropping my salt in there till I see the indicator go to 4. So I have my 4 ounces of salt there. And then I have my sugar here. Oops, here's my sugar. I'm going to be using with the sugar about 3 ounces of sugar. So now I bring this up to 7 ounces right here. So now we're at 7 ounces. Then I need an ounce of brandy, an ounce of limoncello. So there's my ounce of limoncello. Did I go up there to, almost 9, perfect. About an ounce of brandy. There we are, an ounce of brandy. And you can always check and see what you have in here. The other thing I need to do is 2 ounces of lemon juice, which is roughly about the juice of 1 lemon. You're going to get about 2 ounces of lemon juice, 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces of lemon juice out of the lemon. So we have that here. So now this is what is going to cure our salmon. Now, to make it pastrami tasting, what we need to do is we need to use pepper and we need to use coriander. So what I'm going to do right here, let me just dry my hands off here, is I'm simply going to take some coriander seed here. Then I'm going to take some whole black pepper right here. Whole black pepper, about equal quantities. And I'll just use my coffee grinder here and I'll just grind this up so that it's coarse but not too smooth. Beautiful. So now I have my cumin and my coriander here and the smell is outrageous. Just add this right to that. And along with that, I have some, was not on the recipe I'm giving you, but it's a lemon pepper medley. I'll put a little bit of that in there too because it's just kind of nice. Okay, now here's what we do. We take this and using a spoon, I'll just use a spoon right here. I'm going to mix this together and what it will look like is it's going to look like wet sand. Doesn't that look like just wet sand? Beautiful. Nothing running, nothing at all. Beautiful. Now, here's where the fun part comes in. We simply take some plastic wrap here. And now the salmon that I'm using, this is not farm-raised salmon. And the pin bones have not been removed. It has been scaled, but the skin is left intact. What we'll do is we'll just take our salmon right here, put it on the middle of the plastic wrap. Then we take our mixture, the wet sand mixture, actually it's our coriander with our peppercorn, our limoncello, salt, and sugar. Put it on top like this. Then we're going to seal this. So we'll take the plastic wrap this way, the plastic wrap this way. This is about a 2.5 to 3 pound piece of salmon. Then we just make sure we remove any of that excess air out of there. Now, The next key to this is we take a Ziploc bag like this, put this in a Ziploc bag, remove that excess air as well, Ziploc this, put it in a dish, skin side down, seasoning side up, we put a weight on top of it. Put it away for 24 hours. After 24 hours, this is what the salmon is going to look like. And you can see the liqueur that comes out of this. Now, to serve this, take our salmon out. Now this, and let all that liquid come out of this. Now this is my cured salmon. This is ready to eat. The only thing I have to do with this is I do need to remove the excess seasoning off the top here. Now, some chefs will take and wash this. What I will usually do with this is I would usually take it, scrape off that excess. Let's get this out of the way here. Then I would take a side towel, put it down, nice clean side towel, and I would take and I would rub most of the excess off. I really don't want to put water in contact with the salmon. Make sure you don't care about the towel. Let's see what this looks like on the inside now. See how nicely this slices? See how it looks cooked all the way through? And it's going to taste like some heavenly body made it for you. Tastes like pastrami, has a salmon, out of this world. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, I'm going to take this delicious pastrami salmon and make a wonderful cucumber tomato salad with it. Don't go anywhere. It's end of the summer garden today on Let's Cook. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where we are talking about end of the summer garden. And that's what we're doing. Now, we made the pastrami salmon here. It's out of this world. It's delicious. Now, with the pastrami salmon here, we're going to make a little bit of a salad. So the first thing that I have here is I have a cucumber. This happened, when I was in the market. These are not out of my garden. They had some Iranian cucumbers, which have a lot of seeds here. So when I cut this down, but the seeds are very small. They're very immature. So I'll use these seeds. And what I'll do is I won't even peel the cucumber because the skin is so thin. Then I'll take and I'll cut it basically on a bias here so that it is fork size, but it has see, it's going to give my salad a nice shape. So first thing in the bowl goes our cucumbers. Next, I have some diced tomatoes here. I'm going to add an equal amount of tomatoes, just garden tomatoes diced with the cucumber. Next, I have a little bit of red onion here. Now the red onion, and we all know how strong that can be. But again, remember, we're having salmon. With the red onion, I'm just going to take it. I've cut it in half. I'll cut it down 3 times this way. Then I'll go about, 12 times across the top this way, based on the size of the onion. Then we're just going to go and do a very small dice on the onion this way. So my onion is good to go. Get that out of the way here. We add our onion. Now, we all know that cucumbers and tomatoes can take a lot of salt. Hence, and we know our salmon is salty because it's salt cured with pepper. So I'm just going to put a little bit of salt in here. Then I'm going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil in here. I'll add the juice of 1.5 lemons here. Beautiful. Now, we also know that our pastrami is somewhat peppery. So because our pastrami is somewhat peppery, we'll just put a little bit of pepper in here. Just a smidgen of pepper there. Then I'll take and I'll toss this together. Okay, so now this salad tastes like the garden. Now, the other thing I have right here is I have a little bit of romaine lettuce. I'm going to take the romaine lettuce here now, and I'm using the hearts here, but I'm just going to take, and I'm just going to cut this into a fine shred. Nice fine shred on this. Good. Next, we're going to set up our salad plate now. To set up our salad plate, I'm going to take my, we'll do it this way. Oh, actually, I never do this the same. So I think I'll just take my salmon. I'll show you how we slice it. We're going to take the salmon. We're going to slice it nice and thin this way. Turning as we go. And remember, we left the skin on. You see how beautiful that is? Always, if you have a nice slicer like this, always let the knife do the work. Just kind of gradually go through that there. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, if you see a little bit of bone there, just take that out. There and now. I'm going to go once, twice, 3 times right here. I just need to turn this piece over because this piece, you want that side there. So we're going to go like this. Then right here, we'll put our romaine lettuce right here. Now the romaine lettuce does need a little bit of seasoning there. Just a little bit of lemon juice, no oil because you have enough oil from the fish. And then our salad here with the tomatoes, the onions, and the cucumbers right in the middle there. So you have that going on right there. This, with a piece of French bread, is going to be out of this world. See how easy that is to make? We need to take a little break, but then when we come back, I'm going to show you how to make a tomato bouillon soup that we're going to garnish with eggplant fritters. We're also going to clarify that. End of the summer garden today on Let's Cook. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where we are talking end of the summer garden. Now, tomato bouillon soup. Actually, this is a bouillon. What bouillon means broth. Tomato means tomato. Tomato bouillon, tomato broth. But we're going to clarify it. So let me show you how I'm going to make this because this is a great way to make this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat my pan. Now into my pan right now, I'm going to put some onions, some celery, and some carrots. Now, to these carrots, onions, and celery, I'm going to add a little bit of tomato paste. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to let that tomato paste brown a little bit. I'm going to cook the acid off of it a little bit. Okay, now, while that cooks just a little bit, and that's going to create color and flavor for my soup, while that's going on, I'm going to take some more of my onions right here, about half as much as I have in a pan right there, a little bit of carrot, some celery, some garlic. Now, I can't put the garlic in the bottom of the pan there because if the garlic went into the bottom of the pan, it would burn. It would taste terrible. Coming back over here. Okay, now we're starting to get a little bit of color right here. Whenever you brown a tomato product like this is called a pince. So let me just shut this off for a second now. Now, along with my other vegetables here, I have some fresh tomatoes. If you have any leftover canned tomatoes, that'll work well in there. Egg whites. That's what's going to clarify it. My thyme now goes in as well with some fresh bay leaves. And this is what is going to clarify my broth, my tomato bouillon soup. So we just mix this together. Look at that. Now this doesn't necessarily look the greatest, but it's going to be delicious. Now into the pan here where we browned our tomato product, I'm going to add some tomato juice. And along with that tomato juice, about an equal amount of chicken stock. You can see right now that this is not clear. But what I need to do is I need to now stir this to remove anything that might be stuck to the bottom of the dish here. Now I add my egg white with this all goes in together. Now all I'm going to do with this is put this on a high heat now. I'm going to stir this until the egg whites start to coagulate. When those egg whites start to coagulate, they'll rise to the top. They're going to clarify this. I'm going to have a very potent, clear, almost rosé-colored liquid that's going to be my tomato bouillon. So we're going to go ahead and get this to come up now. We're going to take a little break. And then when we come back, I'll show you how to make some eggplant fritters to go along with this delicious tomato bouillon soup. Also, we have a little viewer mail I want to answer as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where we are talking end of the summer garden. Now we have our tomato bouillon soup here going that we've clarified, and you can see here how clear the broth is when it comes to the top here. So we're going to allow this to continue to simmer here a little bit. It's going to get even clearer. You know, we do get a lot of viewer mail, and I have a viewer mail here from Teresa where she sent me an email and she said, "Dear Chef Dillon, when you buy fresh herbs, how should they be stored and how long before you should use them? Is it different depending on the herbs? Sincerely, Teresa." Teresa, it is so different depending on the herbs. For instance, I have some tarragon right here. Now this tarragon here, it's a very fragile herb. So with the tarragon here, the only thing that I could do is I could take and make a pesto with it, or I could save it in a little bit of olive oil, but it's going to change color right away. Parsley is so inexpensive, I wouldn't bother saving that at all. And if you're talking about like thyme, for instance, oh, I have some thyme right here. If I were to take this thyme, which you know you might get out of your garden here, just tie a string around it and let it dry out. And as it dries in the air, then you can just take it and you can just go back and forth like this. The dry leaves will fall off the stems and you'll have your own fresh thyme that came right out of your garden or that you purchased. So you know where it's coming from rather than buying the thyme that's already in a supermarket that's going to cost you an arm and a leg. When it talks about basil, I always make a pesto with basil. Depends. Rosemary I'll dry similar to the way I dry thyme. Okay, but you can, you know, the pestos with the oil and some acid, lemon juice or something. If you make a pesto, you can always freeze them and then you can pull them out and use them and have the flavor of that fresh herb. So now we need to make our fritters and we don't have a lot of time left. So I'm going to go ahead and start to make my fritters. To make my fritters, I'm going to take my dry ingredients first, which means I'm going to take some breadcrumbs right here. Along with that, some flour. Okay, along with the flour, I'm going to add just a little bit of baking powder. Then I have some shallots, some garlic, and some diced eggplant. Now the eggplant that I have here, this is eggplant that I took and I dehydrated the eggplant right here and put it on absorbent paper towelings, and then I just dice that up. So I have my eggplant there. We're also going to add a little bit of melted butter here. Whoops, first of all, let's mix our dry ingredients together and make sure they're well mixed. Great. Now I'll add some melted butter to this. I'm also going to put some butter in the pan to cook these with as well as a little bit of safflower oil here too. Beautiful. So we're killing two birds with one stone there. So I have my butter. I'll add 1 egg or 2 eggs and enough liquid just to moisten this. Along with that, I have a little bit of tarragon that I'm adding here too, and a little bit of dill too. So just mix this together, and we want this to be the consistency of not a dough, but almost like a pancake batter because it's going to be a fritter. See how nice this looks? Beautiful. So this is now good to go. Also, make sure you put a little salt in this too. I'm just going to take one of my fritters right here, drop this in the pan, let this start to cook. So this is my fritter. Almost looks like a pancake, but it is a fritter. Now, while that's going on, we're going to come over here and I'm going to start to strain off my bouillon. I'm going to put this through a fine strainer and you can see how nice and clear this liquid is. So let's just get enough out of here for one bowl of soup because we only have about, not too much over a minute left, and I need to show you how this looks. So that's enough bouillon for one. Let's get our spatula right here. I'm going to come over here, take our fritter. Come over here, we're just going to take our fritter, flip that over. Beautiful. Then we come over here. A little bit of consomme right here. Right in the middle. See how nice and clear this is? Out of this world. Doesn't that look fantastic? Now you can go ahead and garnish this with the eggplant. You could garnish this with some very nice diced tomatoes. You could also put a few scallions in here. But the only other thing we need to do is we need to take this take our fritter, because remember, it's cooked in fat, come over here, pat this dry, then right in the middle here, a delicious fritter. A little bit more herb on top there. Thanks for watching End of the Summer Garden. Today's show on Let's Cook. We'll see you next time. That's a twister. End of the Summer Garden. Bye-bye.